For those of you joining us today, in today's class, we will learn to play C, F, and G chords on the piano. The capital letters C, F, and G are used as shorthand alphabet symbols to indicate that these are major chords. A chord is a group of 3 or more notes which are played together at the same time. You will be asked to find and play these chords on the piano. So let's get started. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, C Major Porter. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and welcome to C Major Before the Show. We are going to start things this evening with a roll call. Now, these are random names of people that may or may not be musicians, but we're calling you out to join our music making and wellness club. So if it happens to be a coincidence that your first name is the same name as one of those names that I call out, then welcome to the club. If you want to get in touch with the podcast, feel free to do that too, because we are welcoming real live listeners, and we want to know your names. We want to know what you're doing with your music making and what you are intending to do. So let's get started with the roll call. Let's go ahead. And our first name we want to call out is Tim. Are you listening? Bob, are you listening? Cheryl, are you listening? Mike, are you listening? Wendy, are you listening? Jeff, are you listening? Abdul, are you listening? Domingo, are you listening? Jim, are you listening? Paul, are you listening? And if you are listening and I called your name, then feel free to raise your hand, and that's today's roll call. And now we're going to turn our attention toward chords, which is our topic for today, and really for the whole year. In our Piano for Parents course, we're kicking off today's episode with C, F, and G chords. So let's get started. What I'm going to do now is pull from the resources that were listed in the syllabus. So we went over the syllabus in the last podcast episode. If you have a chance, read the syllabus and then give us some feedback, because we are open to that. And if you are puzzled about the syllabus, then hang on, because a little bit later in today's episode, I'm going to mention where you can find that syllabus online when I get to the part about social media. So let's go ahead and pull our first resource. We are using the really useful piano poster today. The really useful piano poster. So if you have a chance, get a hold of it. It may even have a different name at this point. The really useful chord poster may be an alternative name for this resource, but we are using it here on the podcast just to point out how to find a C major chord. So C major chord may be considered one of the common chords that you can learn to play on the piano. Let me say this too. I will not be playing the piano. I have decided not to do that because my sound may not match your sound that you have at home, in your studio, wherever you may be, playing the piano. So I just want you to feel comfortable with what you have in your own environment. It could be a roll-up keyboard, it could be a keyboard, it could be an actual piano, a grand piano. I don't want to start playing over here and then you try to match that and then become frustrated because your sound doesn't match my sound. So I want you to see what you can find to play on. And you may not have a keyboard at all. You may just be practicing on a surface. So whatever your situation is, I want you to feel comfortable with what you have. And then if you have an opinion about whether or not I should be playing on the podcast, just let me know, because I would be happy to listen to feedback when it comes to that. Now, if you happen to have the really useful piano poster in hand, then try to locate C major. So you'll see, and I'm looking in the left column where the chords are listed, and I'm going to be reading vertically. So I see shading, and then I see letters that are hyphenated. And then underneath that, I see another spelling of the chord. So that's what I'm looking at. So I see, first of all, in the diagram, I see sets of 2 black keys, followed by 3 black keys, 2 black keys, and 3 black keys. So 2s and 3s and 2s and 3s. And then the shading starts with the first set of 2 black keys. So just think of it as 1, 2, C is there, and it's shaded in. 1, 2, E is there. And then among the set of 3 black keys, 1, 2, 3, G is there. So you have C, E, G, and that's the order. And then underneath that, you have a choice of inversions. But see if you can find how to play C, E, and G on your keyboard. That's what we're aiming to do. So I'm going to give you a moment to find it, and I'll be right back. Okay, so hopefully you're able to find that. And so now we're going to move on to our next chord, which is an F chord. So in that same column, and if I just go ahead and count down, so we found the C chord first. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the 6th chord down is an F chord. So see if you can find that. It's F, A, C. So again, looking at the poster, looking at the diagram, I see a set of 2 black keys, followed by 3 black keys, followed by 2 black keys, followed by 3 black keys. So you have 2s and 3s and 2s and 3s. And then F is found among the first set of 3 black keys. So 1, 2, 3, F is there. 1, 2, 3, A is there. And then go to the second set of 2 black keys, 1, 2, C is there. So you should be able to play and read from left to right, F, A, C. Okay, so let me give you a moment to make sure you found that. Okay, so now let's see if we can move on. We are trying to find a G chord next. So if you can, locate a G chord. So again, I'm going to count from top to bottom. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The eighth chord down using this poster, you'll find the G chord. It's spelled GBD. And then again on the diagram, you see sets of 2s, 3s, 2s, and 3s. 1, 2, 3, G is there. 1, 2, 3, B is there. 1, 2, D is in the middle. And so see if you can locate that chord. And just follow the shading. Follow the order of the lettering. And you should be fine. So I'll give you a moment to find that. Okay, so hopefully you were able to find the G chord successfully. And what we've done so far is locate C, F, and G. Again, using the really useful piano poster. You may also locate it on the really useful chord poster if you can get a hold of that as well. And just look for C, F, and G and see if you can find it on your own keyboard or piano that you have available, whatever is available to you to practice these chords. Okay, so now we're going to move on to something that may be useful for you if you are doing this for the very first time. And I'm very excited for you. Give yourself a round of applause for trying. I think it's great that you're here and that you're trying. So the next resource that I listed in the syllabus was something called key stickers. Now, the key stickers are available in different forms. Sometimes it's just the stickers, and in this case, it's a folder with stickers inside. So it's from the Easy Play Today series, and it says on the front, key stickers for use with all keyboards. So this is what I have in hand, and if you need a picture of it, if you need some guidance on where to find something like this, and you're able to use this as a resource, which is listed on our syllabus. Again, let me say this, that none of this is required. It really is just to give you something to refer to, but I like it. So inside, it says, Easy Play Today Key Stickers. Playing music is one of the most enjoyable and fun-filled adventures you'll ever experience. Easy Play Today key stickers are an important step in that adventure. Easy Play Today key stickers, when applied to your keyboard, help you quickly and easily identify the letter names of the music keys on your instrument. If you're a beginner, you'll better enjoy playing all the great song hits available and all of the easy-to-play music books. Easy Electronic Keyboard Music, Easy Play Today, Easy Play Speed Music, Easy ABC Music, available from Hal Leonard Corporation. And remember, all books contain music written with easy-to-read and play Easy Play Today letters in the notes. This makes playing your favorite hits easy and fun, even if you've never before played music. So that's the claim. So I'm just going to stop the music here for a moment and just say that we are not attempting to play any songs in this year-long course, meaning I'm not going to call out song titles. I will call out a sequence of chords for you to work on, and we'll just do it like that. But the songs I kind of want to step away from. So in the interest of just helping you to self-teach chords, and then also encouraging you to find an instructor if you want something beyond that, who can show you how to put those songs in a sequence to play the hits that you are hearing. I have students that work with playing by the Easy Play Today books, and they really enjoy it. And it is, for them, easy to read and easy to play just following the letters. But it's a choice. It's a choice. So just know that if you apply the stickers to your piano to help you find where these chords are, where the keys are, I don't consider it cheating. I just find that it helps with students who need this sort of resource. Okay, so then if you are going to use this, these stickers are reusable. All you need to do is peel the stickers off of the sheet and apply them to the keys of your keyboard, and then they give you a picture of how to do that. Use as many of them as you need, and then when you have finished using them, remove them and place them back on the sheet for maybe future use, or maybe you can pass them on to someone else who may benefit from this as well. So we'll say a little bit more about the stickers later on as we go throughout the course, just to see how you're doing with that. And it's possible also to make your own stickers. So moving on with chords. So we have something now that we're pulling from our resources, which is known as the Ultimate Keyboard Chord Chart. So if you happen to have a copy of that, go ahead and pull that out. The Ultimate Keyboard Chord Chart. And let me just take a sip of water here and I'll be right back. Okay, so now I'm reading from the Ultimate Keyboard Chord Chart, and what it says in the introduction, it says, this book has been created to assist you in learning to play today's most commonly used chords. It is a fast and fun way to gain instant access to 120 essential voicings. Just look up a chord and you can easily find out how to play it. So if you find this useful, that's great. The Ultimate Keyboard Chord Chart will show you the different chords and how they are constructed. All chords are presented in root position, stacked in chords. To locate a given chord, find its letter name along the top of the chart. Then read down the column at the left for the kind of chord, major, minor, etc. you want. About chords. What is a chord? A chord is defined as 3 or more notes sounding simultaneously. Chords provide the harmony that supports the melody of a song. Maybe just stop there because I love that sentence. I don't think a lot of people realize how important chords are. I just recall trying to show a student how to play by chords, and I don't think that student realized that chords provide the harmony that supports the melody of a song. Sometimes it feels like if you're playing a song at the piano, unless you're playing the melody, it doesn't sound like the song, but it does sound like the song if you can just train your ear to hear where the chord changes are. Sometimes chords are indicated by chord symbols written above a musical staff. So in the case of looking at a score, and some students have this question too. They just wonder, what does this mean? What are these symbols? So a chord symbol is simply an abbreviation for the name of a given chord. And then they give you some examples of that, and then they talk with you about how chords are formed in this particular chart. Okay, so if you look on the next page, then you'll see that everything is listed in a chart by chord type, formula, note names, and chord names. and then they talk to you about playing chords in inversion. So this really is a self-teaching resource. Where it becomes non-self-teaching is where they start talking about chord types, where they start talking about how to write the different chord names and the formulas. So you will need a teacher to help you understand what they're talking about, and just be patient with yourself, because this takes years of study to really understand how this all works together. And then, to be honest, sometimes things are missed and you may not understand everything that you need to know to play chords successfully, but we're trying to give you some of the basics. So let's look at, if you could, in the Ultimate Keyboard Chord Chart booklet, I'll call it a booklet, turn to page 3, because that's where the C major chord is listed. It's at the top. It starts off with C major, which I love. And you see C as a capital letter, and then you just see a column of keyboards, and there are letters on the keyboards. To the left of that, you see all the different types of chords: major, minor, augmented, suspended, fourth, sixth, seventh, major seventh, minor seventh, diminished seventh, and ninth chords. So it goes all the way up to ninth chords in this case. But we're just going to start with that first column where it says major. So bring your finger over to C major, and then you'll see groups of 2s, 3s, 2s, and 3s for the black keys. And that first set of 2 black keys, just count 1, 2, C is there, 1, 2, E is there, and then 1, 2, 3, G is there. And then they have letters on the actual key. So in this poster, or this chart, there's no shading, just letters. So maybe that's easier for you to follow. I'm sure there's some proprietary concerns when it comes to this. So see if you can find the C major chord just using this chart, and let me know how it works for you. So let's turn the page. Now we're going to go to the next page, and the page after that. So go to page 5. And there you will see an F chord listed. So 3 columns. The shortest column really is qualifying the chords for you. Then the second column is E, and then that third column on that page is F. So at the top of the page you'll see an F chord, and you'll see black keys in sets of 2s and 3s, 2s and 3s, and then you'll see 1, 2, 3, F is there, 1, 2, 3, A is there, 1, 2, C is there, starting with that first set of 3 black keys. Okay, now let's turn the page and go to page 6. So go to the third column again, and you'll see G. So 1, 2, 3, G is there, 1, 2, 3, B is there, 1, 2, D is there. So you should be able to find it. So far we've given you 2 resources that will help you locate chords. You can use the chord poster, the piano poster. You can use a keyboard chord chart, and then the other resource in between that was stickers, if you need stickers. Okay, so next we're going to go to another publication that can help you. So let me just pause here and give you some music, and I'll be right back. And if you're just joining us, you're here on C Major Before the Show. I'm your host, C Major Porter, and we're talking about chords today. This is our brand new course. We're kicking off the new year with Piano for Parents. And our first episode to help you find chords to play on the piano is C, F, and G. So we're into our third resource for finding chords, called the Original Piano Chord Finder. And all of these resources are listed in our syllabus. I'm going to tell you a little bit later on how to locate these resources for yourself if you're looking to do that. But let's just take a look inside. So the Original Piano Chord Finder. Find any chord instantly without reading music. Suggested voicings. How to accompany any song from ragtime to rock and roll. And so I just love these claims. I really do. And I like the layout of this book. So even though it's vertical, the way it's cut, it makes you turn it the short way. And now you're paging across the long way. And then how to use this book. So it says the Piano Chord Finder has been created to allow you to find any chord instantly. Because the chords are shown on the piano keyboard, you will find it easy to recognize and play any chord that you need. To find any chord in the Piano Chord Finder, place the book right on the music stand of your piano. Look up the letter name of the chord. For example, a D9 chord will be found on the page headed D. The letter names are arranged chromatically: C, D flat, D, E flat, etc. All of the major chord types, major, augmented, dominant seventh, major seventh, dominant seventh with a flat ninth, dominant ninth, are on the left-hand page. And then it talks about where to find the minor chords. So I had a student over the past week that was asking me how to hear the difference between a dominant seventh chord and something else. She just wasn't sure how to do that. And so we had a conversation about that. And believe it or not, there are apps out there that can help you find this as well. So if you need something to help you practice orally, AURALLY, then let us know and we can make a recommendation for that too. Okay, so let's turn inside where we see contents. And so under contents, you'll see a list of chords. So I like this because they give you the page numbers right away. So we're going to look for C chords under page 6. And then we're going to look for F chords. And then we're going to look for G chords. So let's go ahead and go to page 6. Okay, so page 6. I love this layout because they really do give it to you in a concise way. And so right up front you see C major. And then they list symbol, chord name, and formula. So take a look at this. What I also like is that they have the grand staff right on the page, so you can't miss it, what they're asking you to do. And if you're into reading notes on the grand staff, stay listening because I'm going to give you some ideas on how to write down music clearly, and that will be over at our C Major radio show a little bit later on this evening, so just stay with us for that. Now, they try to do a lot. You have a set of 2 black keys, 3 black keys, 2 black keys, and then almost a full set of 3 black keys, but the way they start out the printing, it's important to see 1, 2, C is there. And I like that they tell you where to position your fingers by giving you dots. So no letters, no shading on the chords itself. Everything is dotted. So 1, 2, dot. C is there. C is to the left of your 2 black keys. 1, 2, E is there. E is to the right of your 2 black keys. And then 1, 2, 3, G is there. G is right next to F. So let's turn the page. So that was page 6 of this publication. Now let's go ahead to F. So F in this publication is listed on page 16 if you happen to get to that. So F major, so you'll see that up front. Again, the same thing, symbol, chord name, formula, and then they lay it all out for you using the grand staff. And then you see 1, 2, 3, F is there, 1, 2, 3, A is there, 1, 2, 3, C is there, but it all makes up the F major chord. So just think in terms of spaces, think in terms of dots, note, space, note, space, note, that's your spacing. And I believe, again, this is all self-teaching, so if you happen to need to get a teacher involved, just take the publication to them and see if they really agree with learning from a publication such as this one. So we are not necessarily endorsing any of this. This is just saying, you know what, these are some things that you can look into if you're looking to play chords. So now let's go to G major. So G major is going to be on page 20. So page 20. And then you'll see the same thing, symbol, chord name, formula. G major is listed among the 3 black keys. So 1, 2, 3, G is there. You'll see your first dot. 1, 2, 3, B is there. 1, 2, D is there, making up the G major chord, G, B, D. Also, if you're taking issue with the fact that I'm saying chord instead of triad, I'm going to address that actually over the C Major radio show a little bit later. So see us over there this evening for further discussion about that. And then on the back of the publication, you'll see some other ideas for getting started with music making. So I like this. Teach yourself rock piano, improvising jazz piano, and then beginning blues piano. And then you can see the authors there, and if it's something that you want to delve into. So let's turn away from this publication now, and then I'm going to pull out my next publication. So I'll be right back in a moment. So the next publication I have in hand is the Piano Chord Dictionary. It's put out by Alfred Publishing, but I believe I listed the author as Manus, M-A-N-U-S. So what I like about this is that they give you a nice picture on the front, and then they just say, this handy reference guide shows the notation, fingering, and keyboard diagrams for all of the important chords used in popular music. So I really like this claim because I have a lot of adult students that want to learn to play popular music, and parents in particular. So this course is called Piano for Parents for a reason, because a lot of my students will have parents that want to learn to play, but they just don't find the time to do it. And I think you will find the time to play by chords, and this is probably the most efficient way to give you something to do at the piano, and also a way to encourage your child. So I'm going to make a statement about that too a little bit later on today's podcast episode, so just stick with us. And Piano Chord Dictionary, it gives you an idea of the contents, and this is a very unique publication because it's unlike the other publications that we picked out. I just have one more resource to go after this one. But I think you'll enjoy this. I'm enjoying it because of how it looks, first of all, and then how it's laid out. So the contents say major keys and relative minors, and then chords, and then you have a chord chart, and then a major scale chart. So they really give you a lot. And what they say is how to use this book. So this handy guide shows the notation, fingering, and keyboard diagrams for all the important chords used in modern popular music. Only the most practical position of each chord is shown. The position given is the one that is generally best for use in playing accompaniments with the left hand. So, to be honest, this is really intended for professionals, but if you are intending to play and sound like a professional, this is a great publication to use for that. And then there's a little bit of information of how chords are formed. So you can use that as well, and then follow the chart for major keys and relative minor. So a lot of this terminology is going to be new to you. I would say this publication is not as self-teaching friendly as some of the other publications, but you can still use it, get the most out of it that you can, and then get a teacher involved, get an instructor involved, someone that you trust, someone that you feel comfortable with, and someone that you believe you can learn from. And so I like that this publication starts in ABC order. The others start a little bit differently, but this really gives you everything from A through G. So let's go over to the part where it starts with C. So C starts on page 18, and again, right out of the gate, they're giving you an inversion of a C chord. They don't even start with C, E, and G. They're giving you fingering, they're giving you inversion. And so if you're teaching yourself, you might get confused and you just go, okay, I give up. I don't know what this is. Why is this showing me G, C, E? It's still a C chord. But I like also that they're giving you the bass clef. So they're not giving you the grand staff as a picture, just the bass staff. And they're showing you how to play a C chord in this particular inversion of a C chord. So get a music professional involved, someone who can explain it to you. There are certain ways that I explain it when I'm having private lessons, but the way it's pictured, they want you to play 1, 2, 3, G is there, 1, 2, C is there, and then 1, 2, E is there. Put your little finger on G, your second finger on C, and your thumb on E. And so they have you fixed in that position, very specific about which fingers to play on the chords. Something we have not talked about at all this evening, but in the future we will. I know I have a certain way that I like to see my students play triads, but again, working with adults, working with adults, working with parents, they have their own ideas. They don't like to be told what to do. And so they find their own way of playing something that's comfortable for them. Plus, we're not starting with technique, so some of the stretching may be a little bit awkward. And I personally want to see you be comfortable rather than say, okay, stretch this way, play this way, when we haven't even talked about technique. We haven't even talked about artistry. Yeah, so do the best that you can. I know that I have a fingering that I recommend, again, a hand positioning that I like to use with my students, but I would say play it the best way that you can, and you're already following some of those videos on YouTube, and so you can use the fingering that you see there, or again, ask a music professional what they recommend. Now, again, this book gives you the fingering, they give you the lettering, they give you a different inversion. So we just figured out how to play a C major chord, but in a different order, G, C, E. And it's for the purposes of accompanying. Now let's go over to F. Okay, so you'll find the F chord on page 38 of this publication. So you'll see again the fingering that's laid out. So if you can, play 1, 2, 3, A is there, 1, 2, C is there, and 1, 2, 3, F is there. Put your little finger, your finger 5 on A, your third finger on C, and then your thumb on F. And then play your F chord that way. So it would be spelled A, C, F. And these are bass notes. These are notes that will be played with the left hand. Okay, so now let's go to G. Okay, so your G chord is going to be found on page 46. So what you'll see there is you'll see bass notes, and they want you to play 1, 2, 3, G is there, 1, 2, 3, B is there, 1, 2, D is in the middle. So play G, B, D. And they do give you the G chord in root position. Okay, so that's standard. 5, 3, 1 is the fingering. So try to see if you can do that. Now, I had a student today, not an adult student, but I have had adult students in the past that had a problem raising their fourth finger to play that 5, 3, 1 position. And I've seen solutions for that where you can put a pencil underneath your fourth and your second finger to keep the fingers up so that 5, 3, 1 go down and 4 and 2 stay up. So I would just say work with a music professional in your community. And we are mainly in the greater New York City area, so there are a lot of teachers. There are a lot of ways to learn how to play the piano if you are living in this area. And if you happen to be learning online, ask your online instructor to help you. If you're learning to play the piano at home on your own using some sort of online resource, then just try to reach out to the person that is in charge of instruction and see if they can guide you a little bit better on what to do. Okay, so I have one more publication to go, and then we're going to move on with the rest of our list of things to talk about on today's episode. You're listening to C Major Before the Show, Piano for Parents, C, F, and G. Okay, so welcome back to this podcast episode. It's a very important episode to kick off our series, Piano for Parents, and I hope you're enjoying everything so far. We really appreciate you tuning in and being here with us on a Saturday evening. So thank you so much for being here, and we hope that the information is useful to you. So this last publication that I'm going to mention is simply called Piano Chords. This is one of my favorite publications, and my students enjoy it. I'm fanning with it. Can you hear that? And I know in today's society we are trying to get away from plastic and the use of plastic, but it's very sturdy. It's easy to fit on a piano stand, and my students find this publication very useful. But it's called Piano Chords. You can walk into any music retailer and just ask for the Piano Chords mini chart, and they should be able to guide you to it. And what I like is that it's very concise, so you'll see everything listed from A on down, and it's the only publication I know of that I've seen in a music store that has red dots, which I like because I like putting some color into my piano teaching. So you'll see a column for key, major, minor, seventh, augmented, diminished, and then underneath that you'll see all these red dots. So you will not see finger numbers, you will not see lettering on the keys itself, you just see the red dots. So if we go down to C, we're going to see 1, 2, 3, actually we'll see 1, 2. And let me say this too, that the black keys are more limited on this resource. So you'll see 2s and 3s and 2s, that's it. So 1, 2, C is there, 1, 2, E is there, 1, 2, 3, G is there, all with red dots. And just see if you can find the chord. A lot of times what my students will do, they'll use their index finger, their middle finger, and then their ring finger to play the chords at first. I recommend using thumb, index finger if you can. Left thumb, right thumb, and then pointer finger on your right hand. So I'm going to cover fingering in just a second. We haven't even talked about fingering at all. Again, because it's such a sensitive topic, I'd rather just have you find the sound first and then think about how to play the sound after that. So just have fun with it. It really is supposed to be a fun course for parents. And if you do have children that are taking piano lessons, who knows? They may have some suggestions for you. It should open up a dialogue between you and your children, your child, other parents, piano teachers, just sparking a dialogue about how to play chords on the piano, and it should be fun. So we just found the C chord over in that far left column. Now let's find the F chord, and everything is ABC order. So F is 1, 2, 3, F is there, 1, 2, 3, A is there, 1, 2, 3, C is there. But again, we're not talking about letters on the keys. I should say 1, 2, 3, red dot, 1, 2, 3, red dot, 1, 2, red dot. So that's what I'm saying here. So the red dots are pictured where they're supposed to be, where you can play these chords. And then underneath that, you see the G chord, capital G, and then the diagram itself, white and black keys with red dots. 1, 2, 3, red dot, 1, 2, 3, red dot, 1, 2, red dot in the middle. And that's it. So hopefully you got something out of it. Thank you so much. Give yourself an applause for going through all the resources with us. That's great. You did a good job. You deserve a sticker. So give yourself a sticker reward. And I do believe in rewarding students with stickers, as they all know. So there's some very cute stickers out there that are available. So it's just a symbol to say you did it. So again, applause for you. And welcome to the club. Welcome to the Music Making and Wellness Club. Make sure to give us your name so we can call them out during roll call. And we want to hear your success stories and how you're doing. And then speaking of which, I want to give some shout outs. Now I made some notes. So again, we're doing something a little bit differently this year because it's partially scripted, and then I'm talking a little bit off the cuff and just really trying to make it natural as possible. But we have some shout outs because in addition to welcoming you to the Music Making and Wellness Club, I also want to give a shout out to my students this week. I had 3 students. Can you believe it? All 3, for some reason, there was something in the air. They went to YouTube and they found out how to play Baby Shark. They did. I was astounded. I was amazed. And it was so much fun. And they were having fun at the piano. And so everybody knows the Baby Shark song, do-do-do-do-do. Everybody knows that. And it's something that my students alerted me to. And at first, some friends were talking about it. Friends that have children and grandchildren, they were talking about the song. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, I had students asking if they could play Baby Shark on the piano, and they did. So I am very excited for them that they're learning on their own. They are self-teaching themselves songs and just having fun with it. So students of all ages are learning to play Baby Shark. Now, another shout out to another student who was using color in his piano learning, and very excited for this student because this student had trouble remembering where the keys were, and then they were able to come up with their own custom piano stickers. So big shout out to that student, and cheers. Shout out and cheers. I think that's great. And I do have one more shout out to another student. Now, this is kind of a bittersweet shout out and a bittersweet story because it happens. Sometimes in life, a little rain must fall. And in this case, this student tried for 3 years with me alone. And that was after trying with other instructors, tried to play the piano and just decided to move on to a different instrument. Sometimes it happens. So I really am proud of the student for trying. And they gave me the cutest card to say thanks. And it was just really touching to know that this student was thanking me for spending time with them. And it says, "To Carol, thank you for teaching me. You're as nice as can be." And then there's a picture on the front of a bumblebee holding a flower. And it says, "Thanks," written out in the form of flowers. And it's just the cutest thing. And this person was really into cars. They drew me a little picture of a car because they really liked automobiles, and they signed their name. So shout out to this student. And may you make the best music you can make on whatever instrument you choose. I just wanted to pause a moment because it's not a celebration when somebody gives up on playing the piano. It's not a celebration at all, but you'd like to acknowledge that someone tried something, and so it's just very encouraging to know that this student is going to continue music, but in some different form. And who knows, they may end up being very successful in playing a different instrument, the study of music technology. Who knows the path that the student is going to take following this. And there's still a chance that the student may come back. So I want to give an applause to the parents as well. You're doing the right thing. Keeping your child involved in music making. It really is the right thing, especially at this day and age. So now I want to talk about our social media poll. We are bringing that back for 2019, and we're going to bring it back in a way that's simple. You know, sometimes you see these polls online, nobody's really participating, and then you see these polls online where everybody's participating. So we want to just start things off as simply as possible first, and then maybe get a little bit more complicated. So you'll see a social media poll that's posted, something as simple like, is this a C chord, yes or no? And then we'll just try to get a number of how many people said yes, how many people said no, how many people said I don't know. Something that simple. So you don't have to spend a whole lot of time. You just click. And then we'll just take it from there. But we want to bring that back because we really want to get some sort of interaction going with you online. Now, as far as social media goes, we are on Music Glue. What is that? Music Glue is a website that is available to musicians who want to get the word out about their musical activities. So it could be a show that they're doing. It could be a blog that they're doing. It could be products that they're selling, merch. Take a look at it because we are on it, and we have posted our announcement about the course, and we also linked it to Spreaker. We linked it to WordPress. You can find us on WordPress. That's our official blog over at WordPress where we post our homework over there. You can also find us on Twitter at C Major Porter 1, Facebook. You can find the music that you hear on the podcast over at Apple Music, iTunes, and Spotify. Also check us out at Django Radio because I have one tune that I've listed over there. And so from time to time, you get a sense of who's listening to the music that we play here on the podcast. But for the homework assignment, please see us over at C Major's Classroom, because now we're going to be posting assignments from C Major Before the Show and the C Major Radio Show. So if you are joining us a little bit later over at the C Major Radio Show, just know that we're going to be live over there. We have pre-recorded this podcast episode so we can be on simultaneously. So speaking of simultaneous, I really wanted to see what it felt like to have this podcast broadcasting at the same time that I was talking live on another podcast platform, and the platforms are associated with one another. So that should be fun. For the first time, you'll hear C Major Before the Show going at the same time as the C Major Radio Show, which is live. Now, the C Major Radio Show in the future, what we aim to do is also have live conversations. We have the option to pre-tape over there as well, but I'm thinking I want to keep it fun, and I want to keep it live and in real time if possible. So see us over there a little bit later on this evening. I'm going to post a description of today's show, and so hopefully you'll be able to tap into both. Know that you can also download on demand. You can download this podcast episode, future episodes, past episodes. We should be listed there until we decide to take it down. And I do have plans to weed out some of the podcast episodes that may not be as helpful as the ones going forward. So feel free to check us out online. We're just glad you're here. Next week's class, D, E, and A. Get at me, as they say, over at C Major Porter 1. If you need to send me a direct message, you can make an appointment to do that. I want to keep it so that I have time to give you my full attention if you have a question about the class. So let me know the best time to reach you on social media, and we can go back and forth with any questions, any confusion, anything that's really puzzling you about what we've said here on the podcast in this course. And then I hope to see you next week. Again, tune in tonight for the C Major Radio Show. We are talking about the same topic, C, F, and G. The only difference is over there, you will learn how to write down chords clearly on a staff. So if that's something you want to delve into, then it may be an exercise for you to get together in a group. We're going to be saying things about that too, because I want to list products that we have for sale, and I want to also list suggestions for you to get together in groups as you are learning together how to play chords. So your group can be 2 people, it could be 10 people, but we want to see you having fun out there and then sharing your pictures online, but we want you to look good in the pictures, look your best. So I'm going to be saying something about that, just suggestions that I have and that I've learned over the years what to do when you are getting ready to take a picture. If you're going to be on video somewhere, you do want to look your best in the best colors, things like that. That's really what I'm talking about. Or just wear whatever you want to wear. So the main thing is that you are learning about music, you're making the best music that you can make, you're having fun, you're having a dialogue, and you're sharing the love of music making with others. So some upcoming things that we will have over on our Music Glue page. We do aim to list merch, items that we have for sale, tickets, things like that, just to keep you engaged. And also because the podcast has a music making and wellness focus, I also want to talk about a wellness drink that you may or may not be into. I'm certainly into it, but it's just helping you to think in terms of wellness, think in terms of just staying hydrated like I like to do when I'm on the podcast, and just having fun with drinks that help you feel well and keep you feeling well. And it really is simple. It's just my own little recipes for teas that I like and things like that. That's really what it is. So if you're into wellness, if you're into citrus, if you're into matcha, if you're into certain teas, black teas versus green teas, things like that, different flavors, then look over there for that. It really is fun, and you can download it and share it with your friends or try the recipes at home. But in the spirit of music making and wellness and the music making and wellness piano club that we are putting together. So it's all fun. If anyone has an issue with the club or us putting together something like this, just let us know. We'll just take it down. We just want it to be in the spirit of fun. We're not trying to do anything proprietary, and we're not trying to do anything that would squeeze anybody else's idea and things like that. It really is meant to be fun, but you have to be so careful on the internet now. So we're aiming just in the spirit of fun. Really, it's all innocent, all fun. And tickets as well. So tickets, and you know what? I saw this online. I saw someone who is a leading voice when it comes to podcasting, and they list their podcast along with a tickets option. And so we're going to be doing that because I think it will be fun if you can say, oh, I have a ticket to listen to C Major before the show, and I have a ticket to listen to the C Major radio show. It also helps us to keep account, too, of who's listening and who's not. And so this roll call that I gave with the random names, they will become real names of people. Just first names, not first and last names, just first names of who's really listening, to give me a head count of who's going to be paying attention to the podcast on a Saturday evening. So I'm going to be making some of the tickets complimentary to my students and their families. Also, stay tuned for a 12-week plan that's going to be posted over there as well. And I'm going to try to post a hand photo chart. I know you've been seeing some pictures of my hand model. And so it really is just to help you find where to play these notes on the piano. And it's not meant to be glamorous. Although, I'm thinking about maybe doing something a little bit more along the lines of glamour for the photos in the future, but we'll see. Also, a practice plan. I want to give you a way to practice these chords, because how many times should you practice? Should you practice 6 times? Should you practice 7 times? Should you practice 8 times? I've come up with something called the 8 is Great practice plan, so I'm going to be posting that. Feel free to download it if you want. Download the syllabus again for free. And again, I'm talking about Music Glue. So our page over at Music Glue for C Major's Classroom. You can find us over there and see what to download, what to get a hold of. Also, the Piano for Parents series. We talked about CF&G today. Piano for Parents series over at C Major Radio Show. We're going to talk about writing down CF&G. And then I gave you the Music Making and Wellness Club shout out, the Baby Shark shout out. I talked about color coding, custom piano stickers, and then I gave some shout outs to some other students that I spoke with this week. So I encourage you, share the love of music making with others. And for those of you who were not able to tune in with us today and join us today, today's episode is available, download on demand. In today's class, we learned to play C, F, and G chords on the piano. We use the capital letters C, F, and G as shorthand alphabet symbols to indicate that these are major chords. We define chord as a group of 3 or more notes which are played together at the same time. You are asked to find and play these chords on the piano. Piano for Parents will, I hope, prove to be helpful to parents of music and piano students of all ages and abilities, while enabling parents to provide some support for their children's music education. This is C Major Porter. It's been a great pleasure to be with you this evening. I want you to know that I have wide experience as a private piano teacher, and my publications do include the music making and wellness movement in the 21st century. And I hope to see you right here next time on C Major Before the Show. Have a great evening. Take care and make the best music you can make.